Clipped works across all platforms, on desktop, which I'm showing you now, but also on phones and tablets. Whether on an Apple or Android device, players can download Clipped from the App Store or Google Play. You get to see the same information whichever device you're using. As a coach, think of this as your homepage. This is what you and your assistant coach will see when opening Clipped on desktop. Through the middle of the screen, you have a feed of your players' activities, which will include competitive and practice rounds, practice drills, even strength and conditioning work. So Clipped is not limited to simply rounds of golf. The player can record lessons and range sessions as well, and add photos, video and lesson notes to every activity type. With every activity a player enters, you have the option as coach to give a little thumbs up or post a comment to provide feedback. You can even add video for your players. So, if you've seen that one of them needs to work on something, you can add a video of a drill you want them to do. You can upload that straight into their Clipped feed, giving you that extra connectivity. You can also see how your players are practicing and performing while they're away from school. Your players can add their home swing coaches too. These swing coaches get free Clipped accounts to stay connected to their players while they're at college. Pretty much everything you see here is very easy to understand. It's presented in a very visual way, so you don't have to be a data expert to understand what's going on. We have traditional metrics like score, fairways hit greens in regulation, etc. These stats will be familiar to everyone.
But here's where Clipped is different. What you see here is the shot quality number. This is how Clipped measures the level a player is at. Strokes gained works well when comparing a player against the field, but it doesn't include the context around a golf shot. You could be playing in strong winds on a firm course, but strokes gained just isn't factoring that in. Or you could be playing at altitude. Strokes gained is going to give you a much better off the tee score because the ball is flying further. Shot quality factors in all of this context, variables like wind, temperature, green speed, fairway firmness, and more. It's easy to add this context in Clipped, which means we can give you the most accurate view of your players. Shot quality can be applied to any shot a player hits. It works on a scale from 0 all the way to 200. 0 is the worst possible outcome. You've lost a ball or blown a drive out of bounds. That's your 0. The perfect shot would be right at the top of the scale, which is a 200. This might be a hole-in-one. Right in the middle of the scale is 100, which is the PGA Tour average. Anything above 100 is better than PGA Tour average. Anything below is worse. A men's D1 team will want to be as close to that 100 as possible, certainly getting into the 90s. A women's program with players aiming for the LPGA will be targeting a score of around 90.
If we look at Dave's round here, we can see his score, and once we factor everything in, we can see he has an overall quality of 85, which is actually pretty good. We show a summary of each area of his game, broken down into the different areas of the game. In this round, approach was the lowest performing area for Dave. You can see he's added a note to himself. Players can use Clipped like a journal, and many do. If I click into this round of golf, I can look at particular holes. Let's click on the 12th hole and see how he made that birdie. We can see all the shots he's hit down the right-hand side. It was a good second shot and a good chip that set up birdie for Dave on this particular par 5. All the player is doing is entering the basic information, and the platform does the rest, calculating the shot quality for every shot they hit. How do players get the data into Clipped? There are a few different options. The first is manually entering the stats into Clipped via the app. Players can do this on the way around the course, or they can do it after the round. We also provide stat sheets that can be printed out for those who prefer to write things down as they go. Clipped integrates with technologies like Garmin. If a player has a Garmin watches, they can collect the data and it feeds into Clipped automatically after the round. Most college players on Clipped, close to 100% of them, add their data manually. Whether it's on their phone or on desktop, the input is the same. For this example, I'm going to choose a golf course close to my home. One neat feature for college coaches is when a host sets up the tees for a college tournament. Those yardages will automatically feed through to Clipped, ensuring the data is as accurate as it can be.
You can pick the right tees and you determine whether this is a practice, qualifying, or tournament round. We strongly encourage players to enter as much data as they can. The more you put into Clipped, the more you get out. Many of the most successful players on the platform have recorded the largest numbers of activities. You can add simulator rounds as well. With Clipped, you have the option to exclude different types of shots on sim rounds, which means they won't factor in your data. And then we've got all these variables here. We pull in the weather conditions once a round is saved. For manual entry, players either use the fast mode, and let's face it, most players want to get the stats done as quickly as possible, or the enhanced mode, which is going into extra detail, things like the breaks on greens, all of that granular but important detail. Fast mode typically shouldn't take much more than 5 minutes to enter a whole round. Enhanced mode takes just a few minutes longer. What we frequently find is that players start on the fast mode and then realize there's so much value in enhanced that they end up spending a little bit more time getting the numbers in. With all of these activities, you can add notes, videos, and photographs. The T's should be correct when you set up a round, but you can edit at any point by clicking on this pencil icon to change the distance of holes and hole pars, if necessary.
From then on, it's super simple. What club did you hit from the tee? Driver. Where did it finish? Fairway. How far was it from the hole? 115 yards. Next shot, what did you use? I've used the pitching wedge. Where did it finish? In the rough 15 yards away. We want players to put in where they missed so we can understand the tendency. In this case, I've gone long and left. And the next shot, what did I use? I used a lob wedge. I hit it to 3 feet and holed out from there. Now I'm on to the next hole. It's very easy, as many hundreds of college golfers will confirm. How players enter the data is down to personal preference. They can do it on their phone on the course, or they can do it after the round. The reason we don't have a drag and drop option is all of our research shows it takes players a lot longer. We've kept things super simple because we know most players want to get their data in as quickly as possible. You don't need to play 18 holes. You can save a round at any point. If you only get the chance to play 12, save the round and just still get the same level of insight, or you might be playing match play and absolutely smoke a drive off a tee. Your opponent snap hooks one out of bounds and concedes the hole. In Clipped, you can just click pick up and move on to the next hole, and that monster drive will still be considered in your stats. So there's no excuse not to capture as much data as possible. Manual entry is how a lot of players get the data into Clipped. On this occasion, however, Dave has used a shot tracking technology, and he gets exactly the same insights.
If you want to have a deeper conversation with a player or look more closely into a round, simply click on Round Insights. This shows all the extra details, including some strokes gained data. Most golfers are guilty of focusing on the worst things that happened in a round, so we're always trying to highlight some positives. What, for example, were your best shots in terms of shot quality? Then below, we have a tracker of every shot in the round. The higher the bar, the better the shot. You might notice some patterns here with players. Maybe they're dropping off towards the end of a round. You can see whether they have a series of bad shots or if one bad shot tends to lead to another. It's a visual narrative of that round of golf. You can also highlight different areas. Scrolling down, we can see more information, a quick shot quality summary, which shows how many world-class shots you hit during a round all the way down to downright bad shots. They always happen, but hopefully you're not going to hit too many. Your players will want to be living in these top 2 categories here. If you want to understand the tendencies of different players, this will start shining more light on each area of their game. For off the tee, we can see Dave has hit 29% of the fairways, but most of his misses were to the left. And here we start to introduce the comparison. You can see Dave is benchmarking himself against the average male D1 college player. In this case, average D1 driving distance is 291 yards. You can choose which comparisons you want, and the number will move accordingly. For each area of the game, you'll see a similar breakdown. And this is just looking at a single round of golf. It's all about removing the emotion from the conversation and accelerating improvement through objective data.
Where Clipped really differs from other stats platforms is rather than telling you what's happened, it looks forward. We organize the data to help you plan better practice, providing you the information as efficiently as possible. Wherever you see a player's name, you can click on it and go into their Clipped profile. As the coach, you will also have your team dashboard. We've got different views up here. You can see I've got a few different teams. To start with, you'll have a dashboard with all your players, but you can create as many different groups as you want. You might have one with your traveling roster, another with your whole roster, and another one for potential recruits who are using Clipped. This first view gives a high-level picture of where their games are at. The quality score we see is based on all their rounds and practice drill data. It's operating on the same scale, where 100 is PGA Tour average. You can monitor how active players have been, how hard they're working. Another view that college coaches really like is this next one, which I can select top right here. This shows you the trends of all your players. Green and an upward arrow shows that they're trending in a positive direction. Things are improving. So this is good news for Josh. Any shades of red and a downward arrow show that they're moving in the wrong direction. So Ian, down at bottom here, we need to keep an eye on him. Things are trending in the wrong direction. Even Blair, his short game, maybe we just want to do some work on that. Think of this as an early warning system. Rather than wait for issues to arise, you can address problems early. One of the biggest benefits of shot quality metric is that it identifies trends much faster than traditional stats or strokes gained can. Another feature appreciated by college coaches is this more traditional view on the stats, where we can look at overall scoring, different areas of the game, even just scoring by whole par. If you want to filter by who's got the best greens in regulation, just click at the top and it goes from low to high. Click again and it goes from high to low. You can get pretty competitive with this too. You can filter by date range, or if you're at a tournament on a particular golf course, you can type the name of the golf course in here and look at the stats for that golf course, or for that date range for those players. This is something that coaches really like. In terms of looking forward, we can click on any one of the players here. If I click on my own game, I see these 5 rings. They show my overall player quality and then my current player quality in each area of the game. Thankfully, right now my driving is really good. My approach play, however, is not so good. Luckily, I'm not trying to play on tour, so comparing myself against that 100 number is not overly helpful. Instead, I've chosen to compare myself against a scratch handicap. I can see the average scratch player would be at 78. I'm at 74, so I'm not too far off. I know now what good looks like for me. If I go and play a round of golf and my approach play is into the high 70s or the low 80s, that's a great day for me. I'm happy with that. Understanding what good looks like for each player is much more powerful than simply understanding what tour level is. The comparisons change across each area of the game. For example, the average scratch players off the tee score is a little bit higher there. So again, I'm actually doing really well for my comparison.
These screens give you the opportunity to take a deep dive into more specific detail. For most players, though, it's a case of getting information in, understanding these player quality rings, and seeing where their games are at. Everything they do has an impact on these rings: tournament rounds, practice tests, practice rounds. One thing to note, tournament rounds have by far the most impact on these quality scores. What player quality gives you is a totally up-to-date view of an individual's game. It's certainly more accurate than the handicap system, which is slower to move. On the screen here, you can see how active players have been. You also have trend lines over time. We can look at off the tee and see there's a nice positive trend there. Clipped is giving you and the player feedback in a visual way. The most important thing that Clip provides, however, is the What to Work On feature. This essentially reveals the unique DNA of each player. As such, it will look different for each player on your roster. What it shows is how much each area of the game impacts scoring, the way that each individual plays golf. This is that forward-looking element of the platform that will help you and your players ensure they're practicing the right things at the right time. If we click on View Dashboard on the desktop here, we get a lot of information. If we're looking at it on a mobile phone, it appears like this. Underneath this importance to scoring ring, we break the player's game down into the more specific areas. As I scroll down, you'll see it goes through every area of the game. This is not just about highlighting weaknesses. This is showing you, in order of priority, what's going to have the biggest impact on scoring, the way that they play golf. What to work on creates a data-driven efficiency for both coach and player. It allows you to understand their superpowers, dial in their practice, and make gains quicker.
How do we arrive at this priority ranking? We look at 3 aspects: 1, importance; 2, opportunity; and 3, shot quality trend. Shot quality trend is pretty self-explanatory. Is the skill trending up or down? Importance looks at how many times a player hits a type of shot and how consistent they are with that shot. Opportunity measures their current form and a skill against when Clipped recorded them at their best. When we see something has a high opportunity, it means the player is quite a long way below their best. Again, this is the objective data that Clipped has on the player rather than feel or emotion. If you look at this high opportunity, if we see that currently, I'm actually quite a long way off my best. But we're confident that with some practice I can get back there because Clipped has previously recorded me at that level. If players are heading to the range, they can log in and see where their numbers are at. They can look at what they need to work on. All they need to do is scroll down to know where they're going to focus and how they're going to get the most out of their time. Then they can go and grind, confident that they're working on the right things. Put simply, Clipped allows you and your players to be specific with your practice.
It's also about awareness. If you're looking at approach shots and that player has used the enhanced data entry mode, you can understand their missed tendencies down to specific clubs. If I look at my pitching wedge, for example, I can see my missed tendencies with that club. It's information that helps me to make better decisions on the golf course. I know my tendencies with this club, so I adjust my aim. I can look at different pin positions as well. All these features are designed to give the coach the complete picture. We also have a what to practice feature, which correlates with the player's priority list, providing personalized suggestions on practice drills and tests. Clipped has a library of practice drills and tests that you can assign to your players as their coach. You can even go as far as building them specific practice plans. You might want to give them a wedge ladder to do. As the coach, you can assign that drill to an individual or to the whole team. If I want you to do this once a day for the next week, I'll just put the dates in. As soon as I add that to the practice plan, the player will get a notification to say that coach has given you this practice test. It shows up just like this. When the players complete one of the Clip practice drills or tests, they get feedback through a score. And as soon as they save that drill, you, as their coach, will see the outcome. Better still, you can see that they're doing the work. Any test that a player completes also goes into leaderboards. You can have leaderboards for all of these tests. So back on that team page, I'll click on the little trophy icon up there and I can look at all of these tests and see who's the best at each. This can add a neat competitive element to practice and training sessions. There's a lot of information on this page, but it's another tool to help you drive really focused practice for your players.